Hello creatives and welcome back. Today we are going to make our last patriotic wreath for 2023 and I'm super excited to share this particular unique design with you. This is my first time using a full-fledged wreath attachment. I mean, we've kind of done like the plush, but this is actually designed for use specifically for a wreath. So if you guys come in, say hi, let me know where you're from. I'd love to welcome you, especially if you're a first-time viewer. Welcome. And let's see, what else? If you like this design and want to replicate it once you get all of your supplies handy, go ahead and click that share button down below. That button will share this tutorial on your Facebook page where it's so much easier to find it. I am going to just make sure that I have everything pulled up, and then let me go ahead and start pinning some things. So I know you guys are going to start asking questions. So hi Joanne, hi Eileen, hi Karen, hi Tina. So let me first of all, let me pin my website here. So if you guys are interested in purchasing this, it is available for sale on the website only at this particular time. I really wish it would just do what I want it to do. Hang on just one second. We're going to pin that comment. So, oh, Kathleen, hate to ask, but I'm going to need prayers. I'm moving back to Iowa. Things didn't work out here in Georgia. Well, you know what? Sometimes things that we think were not meant for us were actually the long-range plan anyway. So I'd kind of go with that. Have a very positive attitude and see where God brings you at the end of that move. We've been doing a huge study in the book of Jonah, and we've been learning that sometimes God has a different direction for us than what we are intending to go. So I'm hoping that you'll be encouraged by that, but you will definitely be in my prayers. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot you down. We'll go over all the materials, where you can find everything. And of course, if you're in my private group, which is pinned at the comment below, you can sign up and join to become a member. You can get the entire materials list, which gives you where did it come from, what's the SKU number, how long did things, were they cut, what type of, did you do ruffles, did you do curls, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and pin you guys down, and we'll go ahead and get started. So there is that. And for my followers on YouTube, if you make sure you subscribe to the channel, you'll never miss any of my videos that I share with you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare our 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. Hi, Audrey. Welcome. And you guys know that this is usually a standard setup for me. I've done the first 5, so we're going to go ahead and follow through with the last section. There are 6 sections in this wreath. They're all done exactly the same way. I am just choosing to use red, white, and blue pipe cleaners because it kind of goes with our red, white, and blue patriotic theme. We're going to take our pipe cleaner. Using the 2 weld marks here, we are going to wire together the 2 innermost rings, just like this. Nice tight pipe cleaner there. And then on the outside, we are going to use the outside to wire those together using, as our guide, this pipe cleaner and that weld mark. Kind of find a midway point there to kind of put those last 2 together, just like this. And then we're going to do one on the opposite side, again using the center and our weld mark. Kind of find a midway point. I find that when you do it this way, it creates stability in your pipe cleaners so that they don't move around, which is always a good thing. So welcome, Karen. Thank you for joining us. And Ruby as well. Welcome. Hi, Pam. Hi, Sue. Hi, Tina. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We are using a solid blue because I really like this color blue for this particular design. It's not like a royal blue, and it's not really a navy. blue, but it is the wide foil metallic. You guys know that I am partial to this. These are all cut to 20-inch pieces. They're all cut using the wood burner tool so that we can ensure that we don't have very many frays here. We are going to do the ruffle method because our wreath attachment is going to take up a large chunk of the center. I don't believe we're going to be doing a bow just because there's going to be so much happening, and we kind of want to make it look like it fits together instead of like we threw everything on it in the kitchen sink and tried to hope that we made a good design. So sometimes less is more. So we're going to just pretend that we have an imaginary line going straight up. And as you can see, I'm just pulling my mesh towards me. And I am laying this in against the curl. So the curl's going this way. I ruffled up at the top. Finished edges are going to the inside and to the bottom. And then we're going to nice and tight pipe cleaner here. And I'm removing the inside 6. So once I've twisted that off, I'm going to go ahead and just leave a little stub, tuck that back down into the center. And I've got my pieces that I was playing with. So I'm going to use these up to get this going. Just like so. And then I just go to the very next pipe cleaner. That's how I usually design most of mine. Even if I'm working on a wreath work frame, I will usually just tackle the next, chenille stem or tinsel tie, whatever comes next, and I just work my way around the design. I'm going to always push those to the left so they stay out of the way of the one that is going into that next section. So this is the left pipe cleaner. So what I say is this is the left, this is the center, this is the right in each section. So I've taken the mesh that I had on my left, I'm covering it so that it goes in between. Well, this is my right. It's going around the one that will be on the left. And we'll go ahead and get this one ruffled up. These are all my samples playing with design ideas. So I always do my 3 just to make sure I'm like, is the color right? Is the ribbon combination that I have set aside for these, is that a good mix? So, and then I'm just going to position this outside. I take the very edges of my mesh and I just kind of fold those down. Again, taking our pipe cleaner, moving it to the left, and now we're ready for our center one. Hi, Valerie. Ruby, there's a total of 18 pipe cleaners, 6 in the center, 12 on the outside, 3 in each section. So grand total of 18. So you'll need 18 pieces of your Deco mesh cut to 20-inch pieces. And we'll lay this one in, and you'll see how well this embellishment's really going to pop once we're finished. Okay, snipping this off. Go ahead and tuck that back down. And then I'm not going to fluff this one out just yet because I still have that right side pipe cleaner that I'm going to do. So I'm going to wait until we get that one done. I'm relieved that it is cold and it is cloudy today. If it was raining, it'd be perfect, but better than the 80+ temps we were having with the humidity. That was not fun. I don't envy those of you that have to deal with humidity for the summer. Okay, 2 twists, and then I'll go ahead and make sure our outside piece covers our inside piece, which is what those middles are. They're basically filling in the gaps between the outside ones. And so I want to make sure that this inside one is going under the other outside piece. And then we'll go ahead and pivot that this way, and then we'll just keep going. Hi, Linda. Welcome. Hi, Julie. I'm so happy you are here. Thank you, Linda. Linda says you do the best tutorials. I try, because I always want to see you guys replicate it and make it your own. So we are just creating our Deco mesh base right now. So here we are again. We're moving into the next section. We're going to make sure that we have that coverage, because if you look at it, we have the center section. So the center section kind of provides a coverage between the two outside pieces, but in between here, there really is no coverage. So this is why you can extend those outside pieces to kind of help connect the coverage until I get to the one here. So now in between these two, you don't see anything going through that mesh. They're completely covered. Okay. So what questions do you guys have? The Deco mesh, by the way, is from Craft Outlet. So you can pick that up at craftoutlet.com, and anybody can shop from craftoutlet.com. I'm just going to lay this right on the inside. And remember, again, we're removing the inside 6. So that's all the inside ones. And then I'm going to take this inside piece. I take the edges and I'm going under that outside left piece. So now it fits up and over, right where the white pipe cleaner is. And then I'm all ready for the next outside piece. This will create a base that is 25 to 26 inches in diameter. It depends on how one measures. If you're measuring from your Deco mesh pieces, it could be 25 inches. If you're measuring from the ends of your ribbons, you could have 26 or 27 inches. And I believe the finished height on this will be 6 inches or 6.5. We shall see. Okay, so again, we're connecting those two sections. So we want to take our outside piece, take the edge. We're going to go right up and right below. That way it covers the gap. So we can take our piece. And see, I'm always going against the curl. Just kind of pulling that towards my fingers. People call it the, what is it? The bow tie, the scrunch. It's basically the ruffle. It's one of the easiest methods of Deco mesh that you could use for anyone who's just starting off using Deco mesh. And sometimes it's just handy to take those and just push them out of the way. Otherwise, they have a tendency of poking through the other mesh as we lay it in. Okay, there we go. I'm going right under that piece on the left, so I can place this right on the inside. Give it 4 or 5 twists. I just always make sure you do it just enough. We'll tuck that back on the inside. Take the edge, make sure it goes back under the one that's on the left-hand side. Just like that. And then we're all ready for our right side piece. Just like that. Right up and over. 2 twists. And then make sure that we've got this one covered. Top and bottom. Move your pipe cleaner to the left. What do you guys think of this royal blue? crossing my fingers and hoping we don't have power outages. This would suck if we had a power outage. And this is such a pretty color mesh. It goes really good with your wreath embellishment. I was like, should I do red, white, and blue? Should I do like red, white, and blue mesh? Should I do like pieces of red, pieces of white, pieces of blue? And I thought, you know what, let's just lay a solid base color down and we'll pop it with all the Patriotic ribbons. So again, pushing it back off the side, laying in your center. We're gonna give it a couple extra twists. Take that off, push it back down, and then get our piece up and under the one that is to the left of that section. And now we're ready. See, it's doing that thing again. Ready for our right side piece. Yeah, the navy and the royal blue are really nice. Wait till you see what it looks like when we put the embellishment on it. You'll be like, okay, I totally understand why you went all navy. Because it's like you just want the details to be picked up. You don't want them to compete with red, white, and blue mesh and a ton of other stuff going on. And let's throw a bow on it. And I think you'll like the design. You know, we never know what that's going to look like until we put it all together. And then we're like, okay, it's a winner. And then I have the door already. I think we're going to be painting the black door in here. We're going to paint it the blue that I used to have my front door in our old house. We're going to paint it that really pretty blue. I've got to find the paint color. We have it somewhere. I've got to take it back up and try to get them to color match it because I'm not sure it's available anymore. But I love the royal blue. It's kind of like a silvery blue. And I miss that in my photos. So I think we're going to paint our front door black and do all black trim. We're fighting right now. Should we go farmhouse? Should we go mountain cabin? It's kind of like, could go either direction. But we're trying to make some design choices. Okay, we've got 2 more pieces left, and then we can start working on everything else. So let's move that out. Let's prep this one. And I want to say this is a matte finish, so it's not a foil finish. It doesn't have a shine. Technically, like it's not a reflective shine, it's a matte finish, which still gives you some sparkle, but a lot of depth. Okay, to the left. And then I'm going to take this and make sure for our last piece, I'm going to move things out of the way so we can squeeze the last piece in here. Okay, so let's place this inside. 2 twists, and then we'll get this one adjusted where it needs to be under the one preceding it. Here is our centerpiece, so that needs to go over, under, twist it, and we're all set. Okay, so what you can see is we have access to all the 12 on the outside, right? It's kind of weird. It's not a true navy, but it's also not a royal blue either. It's like a navy with matte blue foils in it. So let me show you the wreath attachment that we're using today. And we're going to be putting this Liberty Eagle on this wreath design. He's not attached. We just put him on top. But isn't this adorable? And I'm going to pin the bottom. So if you guys are interested in purchasing it, you can. Let me make sure I got it all right. I want to make sure I've got it right. Why am I not doing this? Okay, I did do it right. I just want to make sure. Because sometimes when you have a double consonant there, sometimes people use it, sometimes people don't. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna send that. So it's PNWWreathsNThings, and that's gonna be on Etsy. So you just go etsy.com, PNWWreathsNThings, and you can pick up her embellishments. This is her Liberty Eagle. So he's adorable. He's so well made. I can't rave about that enough. And I felt like, oh, this is perfect. I mean, I get to finish my Patriotic on a higher note. Let's see what he measures for those of you that are going to ask. So we're measuring from the top of his hat, and I'm starting at the very bottom. So it's 14 inches, top to bottom. It is from the end of his hat to the end of his hat, I want to say 11 inches. And I'm guessing, I hate guessing. Let me find my ruler. It never fails. Whenever you need your ruler, it hides. So I want to say it's about 4 inches from the edge of his nose to the bottom. So that'll be perfect for our design. So we will be adding him along with a cute, adorable sign. But the first thing I want to do is I want to go through and put in all our ribbon tails in half bows. And then we'll attach him, attach the sign, and we'll add some cute embellishments. So ribbon choices for today are these 4 combinations. So we have red, white, and blue striped. Okay, cool. So I'm making sure I was like right. 4 inches of what she measured. So red, white, and blue, 1.5 inches, cut to 19-inch pieces, dovetailed already. 2.5 inch. This is called Wavy Stars and Stripes. It's on white. 2.5 inches, cut to 14-inch pieces. And then those are the combinations for that. And then we're doing the red, white, and blue stars and stripes, 1.5 inch, 19-inch piece. And then the God Bless America, it's the blue on red with white stars, 14 inches. Where did it all come from? Craft Outlet, Craft Outlet, Craft Outlet, Michaels. And this was Michaels last year. So we're going to go ahead and alternate these combos all the way around. That'll take the blue in all the stars and stripes that we have on the eagle, and it's going to elevate that and tie the whole design in without taking anything away from our embellishment. So I'm just taking the 1.5 inch ribbon, or not 1.5 inches, 2.5 inches. We fold it in half so that we can make sure we have evenness on both sides. And let's move this over. Right where I have it pinched is right where we're laying it into our pipe cleaner. And then I'm grabbing the outside or the insides and pulling those to the outside. So you kind of have the ribbon tails kind of fanning out. And then the 1.5 inches, we're bringing dovetailed ends together. We're going to go up about 2 inches from the top. We're going to gather. We're going to take this. We're laying this on our Wavy Stars and Stripes. We're going to give it a couple twists. And then I am opening the loop. I am right siding one of my ribbon tails so that we get the right sides on both sides. And then I'm just going to place this in between those ribbon tails so that you can see all the colors. And then I'm going to cut my pipe cleaners down to about 1.5 to 2 inches, just like that. And we are going to embellish those with our red, white, and blue scatters and fillers, which are super simple. This is my red, white, and blue scatters and fillers. Well, as you can see, they came from like Hobby Lobby 4th of July, but Dollar Tree's making these as well. So these are what we're using. I'm just going to take a bead of glue. Oop, that was a little too large, but it'll work. We're going to push that right onto our pipe cleaner. I'm going to grab the white. Same thing. Little dab of glue. Right where that dab of glue is right where I'm taking it and pushing it right onto my pipe cleaner. And then that way it's a nice and secure and finished look for that side. And then on this, doing the same thing, we'll gather in, place this right on the outside, couple twists, open that up, right side your ribbon tail, trim these back down to about 1.5 inches. And so on this one we're going to do the blue. So I'm just alternating red, white, blue as we go all the way around. Sometimes you can go big. You know, they have different size scatters and fillers that have the bigger styrofoam balls or the smaller. And it's nice sometimes if you alternate, you know, sometimes doing bigger, sometimes doing smaller. So we're going to keep going. Put these over here so they're out of the way. And we'll keep going until we finish the outside piece. So again, gather in the center. Lay that right in your pipe cleaner. Just like you could do it if you were doing a work frame, you would do the tinsel tie. Fan that out. And I'm going to alternate because sometimes there's just the little subtle differences you can make. Like right now it is blue, white, and red. I'm just going to flip that over. So we have red, white, and blue. Now on this one, most people probably would not notice, but I like doing those little subtle changes. Those are usually the things people find out afterwards and they go, oh, I just realized that those, you changed them. They look the same, but they're kind of different. Same thing. Snip those off, and we're going to do white and blue. So the little styrofoam balls go on just perfect. You could put the holes in first, or you can just put a little dot of glue, and then right where you have your glue, just go ahead and place those right on top. Okay. Go ahead and get these ones ready for our next one. Always make sure that if you have writing on your ribbon that that is placed in the correct direction. We don't want to put those upside down. Again, fan it out. I love this ribbon. I just thought it went really good. I was trying really hard to incorporate some of the blue in the ribbon, but not make it like over the top because we're already competing with that solid blue background. there's that. And now we're going to do red and white for this one because we ended with blue. So here's our red. And let's look for white glitter. So we want to make sure we're doing the glitter. What do you guys think so far? Yeah, Valerie, it does. It is so well made. I was like sitting here trying to figure out, I was like, how'd she make that? How in the heck did she do that? It's just another level of creative talent. Yeah, it's nice to support people who do that. So I can tell you, it will not be the only wreath attachment I purchase. It's just nice sometimes to have a little bit different. You could have even done this in a swag. I was contemplating doing it in a swag, but I didn't want it to go too big and too long. So I really wanted to pull my creativity back a bit and not go too big. Okay, so we're doing blue and red. So there's our blue and our red. Something tells me I'm going to need to go to Hobby Lobby and replenish my supply because I'm getting low. I use these on all kinds of things. I use the red and whites for Valentine's Day, red and white for Christmas when paired with the green. Obviously for 4th of July. Okay. Again, what questions do you guys have that I can answer for you? You're in a paid group and the instructor of that group is meticulous in her details, so you try to be as well. I love that. That's the same thing with me. I am very meticulous in my details. Or I try to be. And then what I've tried to do now is explain why. Because some people will ask you, why did you do that this way instead of doing it a totally different way? So sometimes it helps to explain the why. Like, why did you pick these ribbon combinations? Why did you decide to do a ruffle instead of a cruffle or a poof or something along that line? The reason for the ruffle is I needed a flat surface in which to put the embellishment. So I needed things to lay flat. So that's why I chose a ruffle, is I wanted a flat space. Not a pancake. I wanted more fullness than a pancake would offer. Oh, that's cool, Julie. Viewers that I go back in and read all their comments. You know, we just had the debate over, should we go shorter tutorials or should we go full length? And everybody was like, you know, I'll take it either way, but most people were saying we like the longer video. We like to watch the process from beginning to end. So I was like, okay. And see, I'm still changing. So if it starts here on my blue, then I need to flip it over. And now we're going to go red on the left. So I want to make sure that I'm staying consistent with that all the way through. And this is the first time I'm actually showing. Normally I do this with the private group, is the whole thing from, you know, actually gluing all the little pieces on. Some people like to see, okay, how do you finish that off? How do you finish up the back? Do you put anything on the back? What does your back look like? You know, where do you add a business card if you're going to add a business card? So it will be time to go to Hobby Lobby to get more scatters and fillers. That's usually my go-to place because theirs are a lot nicer. But Dollar Tree now is giving Hobby Lobby and some of those craft stores a run for their money. Just with the stuff you're finding and the quality. I mean, I'm still never going to do Dollar Tree mesh. I might occasionally do Dollar Tree ribbon if it's something that is really nice. I use those for the angels, the smaller, thinner ribbon. But I would not be opposed at buying it. But definitely scatters and fillers. Some of their signs that they're coming out with, their frames, are really good. Oh, you failed to add your business card on the back? I can put it on the back, but I don't think they'll see it. Because I have your business card. Do you just glue it on the back, Julie? There's that. Blue. And then we add red. So you just like the little details of going around and making sure all of my little scatters and fillers are all going red, white, blue, red, white, blue. They're like little lights. See these as lights. You could add lights to this one too, if you wanted. Oh yeah, most likely. Okay. So here we go. Up and over. We've just got a couple more, I think 3 after this. And then we can add our attachment. And then remember, whichever ribbon you want to see featured more predominantly, you can opt to pull that, like how they kind of overlap. You can, if you want the red more predominantly, you can put it under and just have that more of a thing. I want to make sure my ribbons are straight and that we flipped. We flipped the look so that we have blue on the left now. So I always open first. I always get the ribbons situated where I want them to be, and then I'll glue the little scatters and fillers on them. And now we're doing white. So there's our white. Here's our blue. And I'll make sure that one's really open. I gotta readjust right side those because those are still laying as we pushed them all to the left as we were pushing them around. I was so upset as I was opening my ribbon, and I got about 4 ribbons in. I got the dreaded splice, and that is such a nice ribbon, and that's not even a good splice. You can't even make that work. So that just, it upsets me because I was measuring this way, so there's no way I could, you know, I cut it as short as I could here, but who knows? maybe we'll use it in something that doesn't require quite that length. I hate when that happens. Absolutely hate it. Snip those off. Move this one out of the way. Right side. And we're red and white. Which is kind of good because I can head out to Hobby Lobby tomorrow. It's not like when I used to live in California. And it's like Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, and Dollar Tree with all like 5 minutes from each other and literally probably 7 minutes from my front door. Now it's an hour. So I really make sure I have to go before I drive up there. Okay, last two are going in. And I was like debating, I'm like, do I want to put a bow on this? But we're going to add a sign and we're going to add the embellishment. And I think between those two, I think that's more than enough. You'll see. Knowing that he's 14 inches and knowing that our wreath frame is 14 inches, and then we're going to add a sign in the mix. You're probably thinking, where in the heck is she going to put a sign? You'd be surprised. Okay. Let's cut these down. And we're doing blue and red. I just want people to see that, yes, she does glue her styrofoam balls on. I don't just leave them out. I think I'm going to put the red on the top. I like that one a little bit better. This is just normally what I do when I go off camera. I stop and go through and glue all the balls on. I remove all the glue threads. I kind of quality control check it. So if it's sold, I'm like, everything's cleaned up. It's ready to be packaged. I don't have to do anything else to it. I got in a habit of just making them and I was like, well, I'll just glue all that stuff on when or if it sells. And so now I'm just like, finish it. Just finish it all the way through. Trying to get that to go behind. Okay, let's get that one under. And our last half bow. And they're just called half bows because they only have one loop, but they're like awareness ribbons. That's what I kind of call them, 3D awareness ribbons. Okay, last one. Let's open that, flip it. We will trim this up so we can put, let's say we're doing white and blue. White and blue. And that's perfect because we end right with the red. So then that consistency stays all the way around. And then we have alternated our ribbon, left just like this. Customer may like it a different way, but that's entirely up to them. That's some of the perks about you can design it your way. Put this one over. And then last one should be right here. Under. Okay. That is our base. You can totally tell we've got our star that's going to go in the center. I'm going to attach Julie's card. I'm going to actually flip it so that I'm doing it to where your information shows on the outside where they can order. Okay, Julie. That is all glued in just for you. Okay, so I'm going to situate him a little bit higher because we're putting our sign in. Look how amazing that looks. And we haven't even added our sign. Like if you wanted to center him right smack dab in the middle. Oh, I didn't do that one correctly. How am I doing that? I hate doing overhead camera view. I always want to make sure I have him centered. But look, that is so amazing. I'm trying to make sure he's like centered. Look how great that looks. And we haven't even added anything else to it. So I'm actually going to bring him a little bit higher up so that we have space at the very bottom for a small sign. And wouldn't you know it, the sign is perfect. Here's the sign. Let me get the dimensions for you. It is a 4 by 12. So here's our sign. It just says America. And this is from Pam at PersonalizeItByPam. And I just thought that that would make such a great sign to incorporate with our eagle. Because he's like, and then technically it doesn't scream 4th of July. You could use it if you have Americana type red, white, and blue decor in your house. So we're going to go ahead and get those attached first. I think I'm going to get him attached first, and then I'm going to try to finagle our sign in here somehow. So what do you guys think of like the vision where it's headed? So Julie's pretty cool because it gives you lots of availability to hang him from. So there are 4 pipe cleaners. Let me just get these all situated. Okay. So we have 4 pipe cleaners, just like this. So we're going to go ahead and attach him in. Like I said, I'm going a little bit high on the wreath so that we have space for our sign. Hi Anna, it's been a while. I haven't seen you. Welcome, and thanks for the stars. Okay, so I think we're putting him right about there. So I am going to take the pipe cleaners at the top first, and I'm going to work that down to my frame so he has a really strong base to anchor him in. I have one side down. Let's go ahead and get the other side situated. I'm just pulling my mesh back so that it's like, I don't like it to sit like right on top of the mesh. I like it to go in between the pieces so that if you wanted to grab and pull some, but you need to make sure that we bring him up high enough. I don't think I did that. So let me just go up and over. I'm on like rail 2. So let's get him moved to rail 3. Just up just a smidge. Isn't that amazing how hands and eyes work? We don't have to have our hands underneath something. We can just kind of figure it out based on filling in the blanks from our brain. I always think that's so amazing. Okay. I just had to work the pipe cleaner out. And lucky for me, I have it on a weld, so that works perfect. Start pulling him up. I'm taking up the slack. Right there. I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple twists. Let's make sure we have space for our sign. Let's make sure. Let me flip it my way. Oh yeah, we'll definitely have space. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach the inside pieces. Eeks. Let me get one side over. Okay. I'm attempting to do this on the other side. Let me make sure I have him centered first. And I don't want to flip him over, but I want to make sure that I have this. Oops. Yeah, I've got it. Okay. I just want to make sure I have him anchored down tight enough so that he doesn't go anywhere. And we still have that beautiful blue around the outside. And this is where we're going to put our sign. So if we can kind of, let's see what we can do. I want it right under his bow tie. I'm just kind of looking at, okay, what am I impacting, if anything? Where do I need to put my, I'm going to go ahead and do it. This one's a different one for me. Let me get my hole punch. Because I don't want to do it to the outside ends, because then it starts doing it like this. I think I want to kind of go up here, and then like if I do it up here, then it'll start to push it down. So I need it to stay even. So I think I'm going to go top and bottom. So that's a new one for you guys. So there's that. Because I don't want to, the ends will kind of be a little free flowing. So I'm just taking my beadsmith hole punch and placing the holes so they're opposite of each other, top and bottom. Same thing here, top and bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and cut off some floral wire for this. We're going to do 4 pieces because I want the sign anchored to where it doesn't bow, but also that it doesn't, so you don't see it. So I've got my wire here. You guys know I just build over my holes in the back. Just like that for that side. We're going to do the same here, right over the back. And then we will snip that off for the bottom. You guys never know it. Most of the time I'm only using 2 places for my signs, but this is a longer sign. This is a 12-inch long. So right over the top. And I didn't want it to say Happy 4th of July, because I wanted it to be one of those wreaths that you can leave up the whole patriotic season, like from Memorial Day all the way through Veterans Day. And I think that does that. because America doesn't, there's no like, I think there's fireworks on the sign. Oh, look. Nah, not really. American flag, and that's about it. So I'm going to pull this back, pull back this one, and my whole goal is let's work on the tops, and then we can work on the bottoms. So thankfully the floral wire is really amazing because I can take it right down to the frame. I'm going to put this in place. I'm going to pull my mesh out underneath that, and then it's going to go to where his bow situates right there. So I'm going to just kind of pull it down to roughly where I think I want it to be and just give it a light twist. Let's get the other side situated. And then we can do our bottoms and then make any adjustments that we need to. That's the problem when you do a lot of anchor points for your signs, is there's so much balance you need to achieve. So I'm just doing a light twist because how tight we do the bottom is going to, you know, do stuff to the top. Like if I do the top too tight and then when I go to anchor it at the bottom, it wants to suck in to the bottom. Okay, I've got that. I'm going to kind of pull this one out and about. There's our bottom one, 2 twists, so it's creating stability. And then we will pull this one out. Do you know how hard that is to work through that space that small? Just to get your floral wire all anchored in place. Okay. Whenever it wants to function here. And then that will hold the sign in the perfect place. And I'm just pushing them out of the way so I don't have to hear it drag along the bottom. We will reposition all of our half bows. Oop, there's that one. And this one. And I'm just going to lightly take my edges right in here and just give that a nice feather along the edge of our sign. Like that, along up in here. His nice crisp little bow tie. Let's fan out all of our ribbon tails. Let's spin him around so you guys can see him in all his glory. Just like that. So let's get him all hung up on the door. So I'm going to pivot you guys up. So bear with me 1 second. Oop, camera's stuck. There we go. I think we are high enough that I don't see the lights. I have a, we'll take this one off. We'll get him positioned on the door. Should have moved my door a little closer because my door is back so far. When I asked my husband, I'm like, you just need to push the door to the side. What he did is he pushed it, like he turned it sideways. So I was like, not sideways, just move it to the side. Let's get all of his ribbons. Show beam so we can see everything. that we've added. I just don't see if we were to add a bow where we would add a bow. That's where I was saying that if we did them as a swag, you had a little bit longer area, you could put a bow at the very bottom. But we will make sure you can see everything that we have going on. Okay, there's that one. What do you guys think? It seems so far away. Let me zoom you guys in to that so you can see what he looks like. Boom. Zoom in. There is our Liberty Eagle that we have designed for today's live. Again, if you want to purchase that Eagle embellishment, you can do so by going to Etsy.com and searching PNW, which is Pacific Northwest, WreathsNThings with the letter N and things, and you can purchase her gorgeous, well-made embellishments. Again, the sign, the America sign, is from PersonalizeItByPam. She's also on Etsy. And if you'd like to purchase this one, it is currently available on my website at KatsCreationsNMore.com. It's the only one we're making, so if you want to be the proud owner of this, that's where you can go pick that up. Other than that, that's all I have for you guys this weekend. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I will talk to you guys all real soon. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.